The mic is hot, and there's some topics to be discussed tonight. The mic is very hot. It's steaming hot right now because we've got news straight off the press. We've got a national championship game to talk about. We've got coaches firings, GMs, and we've got some NBA standings updates to alert you on. Way too early top 25s. We got a lot to talk about here tonight on Pass the Mic with Jackson and Austin. And if you all want to get in on this conversation as well, we will leave the link in the description, not in the description, in the comment section down below.
In the chat.
In the chat. Yes, thank you, Jack. And you could call into the show because hence why it's called Pass the Mic. We want to pass it to you and you create the topic. But keep in mind the topic must be within the sports world. We'll talk hockey, baseball, soccer if you want. We'll even talk skiing if you like. We'll talk women's hoops. Anything you want. But we will not talk about politics, religion,
or the Great Pumpkin.
Yes. Keep it to sports and sports only, please. And you are more than welcome to come on our show and share this with us. But first off, I want to introduce you to my co-host, my partner. I could not do this without him, Jackson Johnson of the Jacksonian. I'm Sports Talk with Austin. Jackson, how are you?
Doing pretty good, Austin. Just getting ready for another night and another day. How you doing tonight, good boy?
Pretty good. I was hoping for a normal show, talk about Florida making history, but Jackson, I know how to pick teams, don't I? Because
it's bad. I mean, Todd Golden, looking at his Instagram, he got some history there, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But in all seriousness, I'm done running my mouth on Todd Golden.
But anywho, Jackson, it's bad enough I have to deal with Jerry Jones. But now I got to deal with this in my basketball life. I can never get away from this incompetency because breaking news broke earlier today that the Denver Nuggets had fired head coach Michael Malone. Yep, Shams.
When he breaks the word, you know what's up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, am I like reading this correct? Am I being trolled or something on Instagram or Twitter? Yes. Like, good grief. Hey, what's up? I bleed orange. Good to see you, man.
What's up? And I'll say this for context. For anyone that doesn't know, I'm a Denver Nuggets fan. That's been my team of choice.
He was celebrate when they won it all, man.
So that's what I'm about ready to get into because we can share these details. But, I've seen a lot of things through Denver. My family, you would think from where I live in Kentucky, you'd be like, how did you choose the Nuggets? Why wouldn't you go with like the Pacers or the Cavs? My parents, they originate from Colorado. And we moved to Kentucky when my sister was very little. And it's followed me my entire life. So I've seen a lot of Nuggets. I've seen a lot of great coaches. And I've seen a lot of bad teams. I've seen a lot of great teams. But here's the thing. Michael Malone, I've said this a lot about him. I love him as a head coach, love him as a guy. But there comes a time sometimes where you do lose your locker room. Like we see it in all sports across all platforms. And that's the thing. And Jackson, you feel free to chime in on this. Coach Malone is a guy that he will go to bat for you. He will fight tooth and nail for you. And he was a guy who took a chance on Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr. They kind of give you a little backstory of his DNA. Because if you remember coming out of Missouri, Michael Porter Jr. had a serious back injury. And he had a potential to go number 1 overall until that back injury. And originally we were not going to take Michael Porter. But Coach Malone said, hey, if this guy's healthy and right, he's going to be a key piece. And because we were already a couple pieces away when we drafted Porter, and Malone was one of them guys that was like, "Hey, we need this guy. He's going to be a great valuable piece for us." And Michael Malone, look at the progress he's made with Christian Brown, who not only got to learn under Bill Self, but he comes from Kansas from winning a national title and helps Jokic and Murray win a title. And Michael Malone was able to use him. Look at what he's been able to get out of Pickett. Michael Malone is the type of coach, whoever gets him next is going to get a real good head coach because he will make the most of the roster that has dealt with him. And to Bleeds Orange, is there any details to why he was fired? Calvin Booth and Michael Malone seem two different visions for our team. And I'll say "are" because I am a Nuggets fan. Calvin Booth wanted to be more because we paid Gordon, we paid Porter, and he was like, "We're running out of money. Let's see what we can do." But Coach Malone was like, "Hey, let's go all in. Let's not waste Jokic's prime while he's still here. Let's not waste Murray's prime." And they clashed over how the team should be run. And Calvin Booth, and this is where I'll let Jackson speak, but the thing is, it sucks that Coach Malone got fired because I really liked him. I thought he would be our head coach for a long, long time. But sometimes you lose your locker room. When management and coaching staffs clash, sometimes it does not end well. Jackson, I know you could speak to that very well. You know, you may not be an NBA fan, but I'm sure the Titans and the Braves have had bad management over the years.
Well, and Jared Thomas says that Mike Malone was too rigid. Extreme rigidity doesn't last unless you're Greg Popovich. Even the GOAT and Bill Belichick got fired mainly because he was too rigid. You have to be able to relate to the modern players and massage their egos a little bit.
Yes.
What do you think about that, Austin? And I agree with Timothy Green. Please hit the like button. Like, comment, subscribe to each of our channels. We appreciate very much. And set that like by share and subscribe, comment. Thank you. Thank you so much, Timothy. We appreciate it, man. And Caden, we will open up the lines in just a little bit.
But, just a little bit. And here's the thing too, Jackson, and to the chat. Malone he comes from the Greg Popovich tree. I don't know if many of you know that, but he comes from the Greg Popovich tree. Him and Taylor Jenkins, who got fired from Memphis not that long ago. And they preach defense. Pop taught him you're going to be riggedy, you're going to be stingy on defense, and that was what won us the title the first time, was our calling card. As great as Jokic and Murray and Porter and Gordon all became, and the pieces that came around it was our defense. And I feel like we lost that identity, and Malone was trying to reestablish that identity because he comes from the Coach Pop tree. And like you said, Jared Thomas, it feels like unless you're a legendary status of coach, like Coach Pop, it don't last very long. And here's the thing, Malone is going to go down in Denver Nuggets history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach that has ever coached. He's got the most wins in history and the first ever title in our franchise history. But as we know in the modern day, egos clash and the players are not as tough as they were back in the day. Now, we don't know who the players were the egos got hurt. We can only speculate. I mean, what do you think, Jackson?
I think it's a dumb move for the Nuggets to fire Michael Malone. Because I mean, it's like, you really don't know whether you're going to see Nikola Jokic leave the Nuggets or beg for a trade. But either way, it's not a good look for the Nuggets to be firing a guy that literally brought you your first and only title in NBA history. That's a bad look. But, We'll pull back your thing up for a sec, Austin. We'll pull back this day that I saw from Instagram today.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, when you win an NBA title, it's kind of a curse in a way. Because let's look at Mike Budenholzer right here for the Bucks, 2021. What happens? Fired. Frank Vogel, Lakers, 2020, the COVID year. Yeah, you won a title, but you're fired. You're gone. Nick Nurse winning getting the Raptors their title in Kawhi Leonard's only year.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, fired.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean for Joe Mazzulla and Steve Kerr and a few others that have won some titles in the past year?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the question there. Is
Mm-hmm.
it like, because like we talk about the SEC in college football putting you in a lot of pressure, and we often joke about the NFL being the not for long league, but it really feels like the NBA, like what are we actually going to call it now? Like it's like we got to think of something like that, a little nickname. Like we can't actually call it not for long, but it's not a good look. It's not
Mm-hmm.
really a good look.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing too, with that, what you just pulled up there, Jackson. You look at what happened too. Each year the teams got worse after they won the title. The year after the Raptors won the title, we had the won the title, and what happened? Kawhi goes to the Clippers,
Mhm.
takes the big deal, and goes and plays with Paul George. Then Lowry leaves, and then it just begins to fall apart. And there goes Nick Nurse's job. And
They
then
did a better position in Philadelphia, but the
if they
Bucks,
could
huh?
not cut you off, Jackson, but the Sixers can't stay healthy either. So how much
Now,
longer is he going to last? But
I mean,
go
the
ahead, I didn't cut you off. Go for it.
Sixers are always coming up short. I mean, they're coming up. They're not going to be going to the playoffs this year, for what I'm seeing. And
No.
and I'm looking at the Bucks where it's like, yeah, but like you were always coming up short in the playoffs with Mike Budenholzer. Like you're a
Uh-huh.
1 seed getting your ass blasted by an 8 seed. You don't do that. You don't do that. And it's not just once. It's a few times that happens.
Mm-hmm.
That is
When
bad.
when here's the thing too, you look at Frank Vogel, Jackson. The Lakers have a history of doing this. Like if you go down this list here, Nick Nurse, kind of got dealt a crappy hand. Kawhi was like kind of like a little trade off with the Spurs because the Spurs and him kind of got a squibble. So Kawhi was like, "Let me show you what I can do."
No.
But you look at like Frank Vogel 2020, he wins the title and then he things immediately go downhill because the roster's not constructed. And then what happens? He gets fired. Thus, I believe. Here's the thing: not getting LeBron Jordan debate here, but you
Oh,
like LeBron has gone through so many coaches in his career. You
oh, he
cannot
even got director fired on Space Jam 2.
Like literally, Jackson, Frank Vogel is a very, very good head coach that won you a title. That took the Pacers to the conference finals a couple years in a row with Paul George and company. And it's just like LeBron throws them out. But I digress. I digress. And then you look at, like you said, Budenholzer. After they won the title, they kind of took a step back, getting beat by the 8th seed. And then Steve Kerr, what is helping him is Jackson. What's the common theme with the four that got
He's
fired?
keeping the stars happy. Like he's making the stars really happy. He's kind of massaging their egos a little bit. I mean, there's like the Paletta nuts that hate Steve Kerr, which again, we're not talking politics, but it's like you'll hear like a few of the Paletta nuts like on where it's like a few of which I won't tell you which party, but like they do kind of whine and cry about Steve Kerr, but they don't really watch NBA basketball to begin with. But the
Uh-huh.
fact of the matter is, like Steve Kerr is from that Jordan era. He played with Michael Jordan, so he's got a recipe for winning. And
Mhm.
he's done fantastic with the Golden State Warriors.
Mhm.
And he's always winning with them. But Joe Mazzulla, I think he's gonna be okay. Obviously. Kenosha 3-point shooter saying Vladimir Putin giving Northwest. Oh my god. I didn't even know that's a thing, but that must be a joke headline, but we'll probably get to that later. But
Mhm. And what I
yeah,
want, real quick, Jackson, what I want to point out is the one thing that the guys that are fired that have in common, it was their one and only title they ever won, whereas
yep.
Steve Kerr had won 2 previous.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Excuse me, 3 previous. 3, excuse
Mhm.
me, 3.
20
Joe
yep,
was
2015, 17, 18, and they got 2022.
Mhm. So maybe that's what could have saved Steve Kerr too. And plus, they kicked Klay Thompson to the curve. I think a little too hasty, but go
Throw the
ahead.
baby out with the bathwater. Wow. So
And, and
yeah, I
Jared,
feel like Frank Vogel, like he's kind of got like the crappy end of the stick in the
mhm,
NBA. I feel like he's the Jim Caldwell of NBA basketball. I gotta be real, because like he didn't have a lot of luck at the Pacers. I mean, you're always coming up short due to LeBron.
yeah.
Either at the Cavs or the Heat, and you're coaching at the Magic. You're not
Mhm,
coaching the Magic with Shaq in the 90s with like cameos on Good Burger. You're not getting that.
mhm,
So they fire you. And then you're like a sacrificial lamb because of one of LeBron's tantrums.
mhm,
And then like the Suns, you're in an impossible situation to begin with at the Suns. It's like they were trying, they like blew their wad financially
mhm,
on Durant and a few other guys, like like
mhm,
mortgaging their future. Like well, like Durant worked out for the Warriors. Yeah, he did work out for the Nets, but luckily it'll work out for us. Like, yeah, no, it's not going to.
And here's the thing too, Jackson. Here's the thing with Missoula. He's got a team around him now that can win. And the Celtics are very much, I believe, the favorites to win it all. It's between them and the Thunder right now, and maybe the Cavs. So if Missoula wins again this year, I think it might, if in a couple years, if the Celtics are in the state that these other guys are, we could see Missoula end up like these other 4. We really could. But if they win the title this year, it'll give him some job security, in my opinion. I could be way off, but you look at Steve Kerr, even though he's a heck of a player, won those titles with Jordan, made the big shot. What if he well, what if this was his only title?
Yeah,
The trend speaks for itself.
yeah.
That's why I'm just kind of like it, it's
I could
mhm,
see that. I could see that.
you could. I mean, let me ask you this, Jackson. Right now, who would you say is the best coach in the NBA?
Honestly, I would have to say Steve Kerr. No
Okay.
debate. I because like Greg Popovich, I mean, he's one of the all-time greats, but I feel like the Popovich era is just gonna have to end. But
Mm-hmm.
that's neither here nor there. Like we'll definitely get on that topic in the future. But
And
and
Jared,
I think Missoula can reach that list if he can keep the Celtics going, which I
mm-hmm,
mean he's doing a good job of that. The Cavs and the Thunder. Now the Cavs, I mean, they got a 1 seed, and
mm-hmm.
that's amazing in of itself. You got the Thunder winning, but here's the thing though: what can they do in the postseason?
Yeah, they're
That's
still
gonna
a
be
young team. Yep.
oh man. We're gonna get to your Gators. Don't you worry, Bean. Don't you worry, man. We're gonna get there.
Why is Austin not wearing orange and blue? Go Gators. Listen, Babine. Listen, Babine.
The
We're not
big.
shading, we're not shading your Gators. We just had more news to break. The NBA's taking precedence right about now.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like we didn't plan for. We didn't think this would happen. Like we didn't think we'd wake up to this, but that's like we did.
And Jared Thomas says, he says the team that wins the title this year is the Lakers. Oh, don't do that. Oh, no, no, no. Listen.
They probably could. We'll wait and see. I mean,
Listen, no disrespect, but I would prefer anybody but the Lakers out west. If we're not going to win it, just not the Lakers. I can't listen to ESPN rant for about 5 minutes, 55 minutes talking about LeBron Jordan.
oh
Just
god, like it's like I was watching like Stephen A. Smith. Like, you remember that whole like ordeal with LeBron. Like it's like, oh god.
like, and Jared Thomas, if you are a Lakers fan, for you, like I hope they win it, but
Exactly.
personally, but for me and Jackson
We
personally,
know a
we don't.
guy personally that's like really insufferable with his teams. He's somebody from our past, but
Yes, I'll say this too, Jackson. I want to share this too.
well, we're gonna get callers in a little bit. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen.
If the Lakers win the title, Shannon Sharp and Nick Wright will go all. Here's the thing: I don't mind Shannon Sharp. He's funny. I can deal
Man,
with him.
start rules. I like his Club Shay Shay show. I mean, it's awesome. I've gotten a soft spot for it. Nick Wright. I don't really watch any Fox Sports One, to be honest, because they just have clickbait crap. They just say enough crap because they think that viewers will watch it. Like Cowherd saying this crap that we don't need Notre Dame USC. It, and then it's like 5 minutes later, he says whatever is the current thing, saying that he always believed this was true. It's like, no, you didn't. You're just saying that because you think everybody's gonna like you, asshole.
Jackson. Listen, I understand Notre Dame USC is precious to you, but but we're on NBA, good buddy. NBA,
I
NBA.
know, but I'm just kind of going at Colin Cowherd. No, I know 3-point shooter. I know. My buddy Austin said the same thing, that the three numbers are a little scary. No worries, but tell your friends to tell your friends, family, cashiers, and posts to get my personal get Jackson Johnson 979 to 667. That way I can be lifted out of that curse. Don't you worry.
And he says, not a Lakers fan. LOL, I'm a LeBron James fan. That's understandable. I've got a couple of mine that I work with.
Well,
That
you're
are
a
LeBron.
cool LeBron James fan. You're
Yeah,
the cool one. You're one of the cool guys in our clubs. No worries.
yes. I know a couple people that are that way. I mean, listen, there's certain guys I root for in the NBA, even though I'm a diehard Nuggets fan. I hope Giannis wins another title if we can. Like I like
Never.
Giannis. I like Shea. So, but if they play the Nuggets, of course I'm gonna root for the Nuggets. But I digress. I digress. But there was some other news, Jackson, as well, and that is the Denver Nuggets also fired Calvin Booth. So management was like, you know what? Here, Coach Malone, you and Calvin Booth, since you're bickering and arguing like an old married couple, you both can be jobless. What do you think about that?
Well, go wait and see how this fits the Nuggets. But I'm kind of curious.
I am too. I mean, I think this is a message like if setting a precedence going forward, if management and coaching are bickering, the higher ups will step in and will put a stop to it. I mean, what do you think, Jackson? If let's play GM for a minute, or owner, excuse me. If your coach and your GM are bickering about how to run the team, would you have done this? Gotten
No,
rid of both of them, or how would
not
you
with 5
handle it?
games left in the season. No.
So how would you handle it, Jackson? How would owner Jack handle this?
I would just kind of get them in a room together. Just I didn't block. No, I didn't block you, man. I promise you. You're unblocked, man. You're good. You're unblocked. No worries, man. The StreamYard does that sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know why either, but
It was pulling that crap with me when Sean Garner was calling in and Minnesota
yes,
Dave was calling in.
yeah.
There you go, man. Let me make sure it's not pulling any BS on me. All righty. We've got our crap again. Come on. Come
But
on. Don't
anywho,
don't
Jack.
don't block don't do that, StreamYard.
But anywho, how would owner Jack, while we get this fixed, how would owner Jack handle this?
Well, I would make sure that the really? Come on. Okay. Anyway, 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 so I would just kind of get those two guys in a room together.
Mm-hmm.
Get them to tell me what do they like, what do they not like. That's what I would do. Just tell me what is wrong. What's
Mm-hmm.
wrong? What's going on? Tell me the truth. Get it all out in the open.
Uh-huh. Because I'm one of them guys, Jackson. I'm like, if the decision's being made this late in the year with just 5 or 3 games left to go, it must be a pretty bad situation because I don't understand why you would wait this late. Because
Yeah.
it's like when you fire a head coach of football, Jackson, when they wait till the last 2 games of the year. I don't understand that either. Let them finish the year out and
Exactly.
then let it go. Like,
Yeah.
I understand sometimes the detriment of the team, it can really offend the team, but I just don't know. Like 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 that's one of the things. Was it so bad that if we didn't fire both of them today, that it was going to be the detriment of our team? And there's sources out there speculating that Malone had lost the locker room after that Minnesota game, which we just can't seem to beat the Timberwolves for whatever freaking reason. But I
Yeah.
digress.
True. But well,
I mean,
I believe we've got this situation all figured out. Here we go. You ready?
I mean, here's the thing, Jackson. Before we let our callers on, you want to talk about the Gators real fast. That way, B Bean doesn't, because B Bean wants us.
Yeah, we can bring our caller. You can bring our caller on with us. Talk about the Florida Gators for a bit.
Okay, let me do that. So last night, for any of you that lives under a box, the Florida Gators are your 2025 NCAA national championships in college basketball. The Gators are chomping their way to history, and in a game that, Jackson, I'm utterly heartbroken for Houston because of that very last play.
Well,
Did
it's
you watch?
Houston. They never have anything good in college basketball at the end.
I know, right? But I felt so bad for Kelvin Sampson because he had worked so hard, 40 years, and he just couldn't get it done. And don't get me wrong, happy for the Gators fans. B Bean, if you're still out there, congrats on your win. But Houston was in control of this game from the tip, and it just felt like this was going to be Houston's night. And Walter Clayton Jr. really never got going. He never really He made a couple timely shots down the stretch, but it was Florida's defense at the end. What Houston's calling card is what Florida beat them at. And just the way this game ended, like, I just can't get over how this game ended.
Yeah.
Like, Emmanuel Sharp gets the screen, and then as he's about ready to shoot, has to drop it because if you touch it, that's a travel and it goes the other way. I mean, one of the best championship games we've seen in, I would say, the last 3 or 4 years. And then for it to end like that, Jackson, you can't tell me your heart doesn't break for Emmanuel Sharp and Kelvin Sampson. You can't tell me it doesn't break for it.
Yeah. But I mean, I was going to be making fun of the winner anyway. So it's like, it really didn't matter who won. I was just going to have something snarky to say about the winner. But no, in all seriousness, though, like, Houston basketball is full of heartbreak. I mean, like, 83, 84, it's like the Final Four in the 80s. It's like, it's not good. It's like they're just falling short in March Madness.
Well, let me ask you this too, Jackson. Do you think there's a chance, going forward, do you think Florida can sustain this type of success?
We're gonna wait and see. I mean, because like we'll know 3-4 years from now.
I mean, this was a special team. Don't get me wrong. Do you think it was just that, Jackson? It was a fluke year. Like,
yeah, it was, but I mean, it is what it is. It's like, that's how. I mean, I know like some people are like Duke was the better team than Houston, but here's the thing: you lost. You lost. I don't play by that crap of 9 losses out of 10 or no. What's done is done. History's history.
Well, here's the thing too, Jackson. Like, to be quite honest with you, here's the thing. Does the best team on paper always win? No. Like, you can make an argument and say Houston, Duke, they were better than Florida, but Florida won the whole thing. Regardless of what we think, Jackson, we could love, hate, dislike this. Florida was the better team. Florida is the best team because they have the national championship. They are the team to beat going into next year, whether we like it or not. And they earned every right of it. And not to discredit Houston in any way or any fashion. They played a hell of a game. It's just the ending. They made one mistake, and 40 years of Kelvin Sampson's hard work went like that.
Wow.
Now, will Houston be back here again? I don't know. They're losing a lot of guys.
Well, and Kelvin Sampson, he's kind of a few years away from that retirement age. So it's like we're gonna wait and see what happens. Hey, well, Austin, are we ready yet?
Jackson, we have our first caller in the queue. I'll let you introduce this one, Jackson, because this
is Caden the man. How you doing tonight?
Actually, good morning, Jackson and Austin. How are we doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad we're able to get that setting situation.
Yeah, the whole shenanigans settled. Yeah. First of all, nobody gives a crap about the Florida Gators winning the NCAA basketball title. I mean, seriously, only Triple Bean does. But for me, like, let's just get basketball season and baseball season out of the freaking way. Because I'd rather see Georgia and Ohio State go at it right now. Because people, like, honestly, for me, I want to just get it on. I want to get the big dogs to get loose and to get crazy. That's just me personally, because I played high school football. But I don't know what y'all think.
Well, we're waiting it out for football season.
I mean, I'm more of a basketball person.
137 days. Well, it's 136 days away until week 0 where you're at. 141 days till week 1, 143 days until Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia start their season.
Well, I just want Ohio State and Georgia to get it on right now. Because this has been going on. I've heard Georgia fans say we want Ohio State. Well, if you want Ohio State so bad, get the NCAA commissioner to get his butt out, get his butt out of his chair, get his suits and tie out there, so we can get it on. And let's get it on. Come on now.
Oh, man. I love that quote. Let's get it on. Like that's an amazing quote to use right there.
Nobody else uses it except for me.
Caden, I don't know if you want any of Georgia, because we remember the last time Georgia Ohio State played. It ended in heartbreak.
Austin, for the Lord and love's sake, I've already seen that game. I was there when we played them. I didn't discredit Georgia, but you know what? They won a round 2. That's fine. Let's get it on and get it on with.
All right.
I don't care if it gets as bloody as it did the last time. I don't give a crap. It's physical football. You put 2 of the most dangerous physical teams in the country head to head, nose to nose. You know it's going to get uglier than hell up in the building. Get the women and children out of there because it's going to get ugly. Jesus Christ.
Well, and here's the thing, too, Caden. I admire your confidence. I really do. But realistically, if you match up with Georgia, there's going to be a lot of people that pick Georgia to beat you, because it's one team you all cannot seem to beat, no matter how good of a team you all have. So do you really want to call the dogs?
You damn right I am calling out the dogs and everybody else. And I'll tell you what, the boys of Ohio Cats that I work at agree with me. They want to, and hell, even on my buddies who I play football with, you know, if Georgia wants to say they want to say shit about a national championship run, so be it. But if they want to get it on, let's get it on. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would love to see that game. I'm with you. I would love to see it. I think it would be entertaining football, but I just don't think it would end very well for Ohio State, in my opinion.
In your opinion, it might not, but I'll tell you what, it's like every rival game you have. It gets physical, it gets violent, it'll get bloody, and when it gets bloody, it's more fuel on the fire. That's what makes them good. I played in a lot of rivalry games like that. I've got my nose busted open 6 times because of that. And I say that's every game I enjoyed. And I enjoyed the Ohio State Georgia game because it proves you got 2 of the most dangerous teams in college football right now that are standing nose to nose, eye to eye, and toe to toe. You got 2 powerhouses that know only one way to beat a team. And if you're going to compete on the same level, you got to play like it. If you're going to be playing like that, you got to play physical, you got to play nasty, you got to play ugly, and you got to play damn sure mean. Because that's the only way you roll around here. Alabama ain't that right now. Ask Jackson. He'll tell you. Heck, if you ask Pigskin Pete, Georgia made them tuck their tail between their legs and run back to Charleston, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I know you're a Louisville Cardinal fan, Austin, so don't be talking no BS up in here.
Hey,
I'm telling you that,
listen,
unless your Louisville Cardinals wants to get smacked again, because we'll come on down there and smack y'all.
Listen, I'll stay in my lane. We'll stick to basketball. But I just got one question for you. When are you all going to beat Michigan? Is that going to be anytime soon? It's been almost 4 years.
Is that a good answer for you?
You tell me.
Can you tell the women and the children and everybody else to stay out of the building when Ohio State and Georgia play, nose to nose, head to head? You better, because it's going to get uglier than hell up in there.
You're worried about Georgia, Caden, But why aren't you worried about Michigan? I mean, that's a team that's in front of you that y'all see more that y'all can't seem to beat.
Let me ask you this, Austin. Why do you think Ohio State fans want to play Georgia more than Michigan? Because Georgia's actually some serious goddamn competition. Michigan ain't nothing but a bunch of cowards. That's all
Jack,
they are. Tit-sucking cowards.
Listen. Here's
See,
the
these
thing.
boys down here at Ohio State, unless you want to... No. Here's the thing. How about you do me the favor and shut your mouth and let me finish? Bottom line is, you're going to be playing with the best. You got the best name dang young country. Ohio State, Georgia. Now, let me add on this. There's a saying, if you can't run with the big dogs in the house, then keep the puppies on the porch. And you know what? By God, Michigan's the puppies on the porch. They get overfed twice a week. That's the bottom line. But when you talk about the boys that get in the weight room and actually shut the hell up and actually get it done, that's the boys you want to go head to head and toe to toe with. You understand me?
I got you, but here's
And
the
how
thing.
about you, Louisville Cardinals? Do me the absolute favor. No. Don't let me hear more of your BS. How about
Here's
you do
the
me
thing,
the favor?
Peyton.
Tell your Louisville boys to shut their mouths unless you want to get smacked around again. Because we will come down there and snack your little carcasses up and down the road like we've done plenty of times.
Here's the thing, Caden. You want to talk about toughness. You want to talk about that. Where was Ohio State's toughness last year against Michigan? A 7-5 Michigan team. Where was that toughness? Oh, nowhere to be found because Michigan beat it out of you. So you want to talk about whipping our butts when you can't even beat your own rival's butt.
How about I tell you this? This is the part of the show where I'm going to tell you Michigan's got a lot more hell to pay since they decided to pour more fuel on the fire down in Columbus. So how about you be careful about what you say, the next words that come out of your mouth, because I swear to you, I will have them boys from Ohio State put Louisville next on the schedule to get next in the next year or two to get your butts handed to you and have your carcasses roasted on an open fire. How about that?
I tell you what, Caden, we welcome the challenge. Bring it on, Ohio State. We want the best. Jeff Brom wants to play the best. Because you know what? I feel good about our chances. I feel froggy. We'll go to Ohio if we need to. If y'all are too scared to come up here to the backwoods of Kentucky, pal, we'll go to Ohio and we'll plant our flag in your O.
And how about this? I'll tell you, we've done it down to the Mountaineer State, West Virginia, and that was a nice bit of a change of scenery. But we'll come down to Louisville and absolutely open up a can of whoop ass on you and serve it to you. And that's all I got to say about that.
We'll see about that. All
right, man.
As far as Jackson's concerned, Jackson don't want none of it because he knows them Cruising Tide boys ain't going to stand a chance if they came toe-to-toe with us.
Well,
we would actually beat the living hell out of them.
Well, actually, Alabama and Ohio State are going to play each other 2027, 2028. So, I mean, I'm
going to be...
Huh?
Ooh, I'm going to be enjoying that one.
Same. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy it seeing it on big noon kickoff when it's played in Columbus, and I'm gonna enjoy seeing it on Saturday night on ABC in 2028. That's gonna be cool. Oh.
Come up to Columbus for the first actual freaking time. I'm going to tell you what, I will be laughing in your faces when you have an L headed not only in Columbus to you, but in Tuscaloosa. Or actually Tuscaloosa. Because y'all can't hang with the big dogs of the Big Ten, the champions.
Okay.
I mean, listen, Caden, with much respect, you do realize what tree you're barking up, right? You're barking up the Alabama tree, the greatest dynasty that was ever built.
Austin, say that it's out of there, and the boy's in there, and the boy hasn't played a team elite since Georgia actually came in there. But we softened up Georgia, and now Georgia wants revenge. So be it. Like I said, they want to fight, they're going to get a fight. And as far as I'm concerned, Michigan's just another case of the cowards somehow got MILFs up in there feeding them boys twice a day. Overfeeding them, actually. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, their feed schedule about to be cut off after we played in Ann Arbor this year. So trust me.
Listen, Caden. You're talking a big game about beating Georgia, Alabama, coming down here to Louisville, whipping us. But like I said, you've got to worry about Michigan, pal, because you can't beat Michigan. You're getting a little ahead of yourself.
Austin, for the love of God, I told you, we're going to have that business handled. You just shut up and let us handle business. Now you boys stay in your lane or else.
We're not scared of Ohio State.
Says the team from the conference that Clemson can't even bark up the wrong tree. Actually climb up the wrong tree.
Hey, listen. Let me school you on Louisville here, Caden.
No. You keep your Louisville crap in that gut of yours. Because this is where the big dog has entered the building, all right? This is not turf now. You hear me, Dan?
It is for this year.
So how about you do me a favor? Keep your Louisville in your little gut there, or else I will have the boys come down in there and tear it all out of it. How about that? Would you like that?
Listen.
Gonna have y'all little Cardinals strong.
Listen, like I said, Caden, come talk to me when you beat your rival. Come talk to me when you can do that.
Oh, and we will do that.
Because all I see is a bunch of losers when it comes to playing the big-time games.
I'll tell you the guys you should definitely call in and tell this stuff to. Have you ever called in on the Michigan College show, and have you ever called in on the Feinbaum show?
I told Feinbaum to keep his mouth shut because the couldn't say anything nice about our team. He had to go on and rant about how Alabama was this and this and this, and I had to tell the guy to shut the hell up because the mother wouldn't shut the hell up about it.
Well,
as far as the Michigan boys, I will light them up, and I will light them holes up any day of the freaking week. And actually, I thought about it, and I thought, you know what the hell? I think I might go over there and light them boys up, especially since I already lit up Mark Rogers enough. Well, I might light up Mark Rogers a lot more since he deserves it.
Okay.
Did I strike a nerve, Jackson? Because you're co-host of the Voice of College Football. Mark Rogers is your buddy. Well, how about you tell him a message? No. How about you do me a favor and tell Mark Rogers a message from me? How about that? You tell him that Kate the man said, unless you tell him to shut up about my Ohio State Buckeyes, because the next thing I hear against my Ohio State Buckeyes, I will be personally tell Coach about it, and I will be personally telling the boys about it, and I will be telling them some dumb SOB decided to say shit against my boys and my house. You ain't saying that against my boys. There's a saying, don't write checks with your mouth that your ass can't cash. Well, Mark Rogers, hear me out, boy. The next thing you say and the next words you put against my boys, I will literally have them open up the biggest can of whooping, and I will have the gates of hell unleashed on Michigan as far as I'm concerned. And I will tell you what, them boys from up north will get so burned that they can't even get Brandy Love to put them boys to back together. Because I swear to God, it will happen. And it will be guaranteed. Oh, hell, he's going to open up. And that's the bottom line. Whoo, Lord have mercy. I'm not light up there in the some bitches.
All right, man. You got some water, man?
No, I got some damn liquid in here.
There you go, man.
But as far as I'm concerned, Pigskin P can go take his Clemson fandoms and shove it straight up his. Mark Rogers can take his Michigan fandom and shove it up his ass. Because I know that son of a gun can't even shut up about them Wolverines for one doggone minute. And especially, what's that son of a bitch name from Wolverine Wire? He can't shut his mouth about how Michigan's the better team than Ohio State. Really? Who just won a national championship, 1 through 14 to get a national championship trophy? Ohio State. So don't be talking shit, Michigan boys. And as far as Notre Dame's concerned, Notre Dame ain't nothing but a bunch of church going, no good, suit tie loving some bitches. That's all they are. As far as Florida Gator fans, overrated Tim Tebow lovers. That's all they are. Idiots. Hey, Timothy Green, just so you know, I respect y'all down there in Mountaineer Country. Just so y'all know. Just so you know, Timothy. Timothy's a good friend of mine online from the West Virginia show. Timothy, get on here, buddy.
He's a great guy.
Timothy, get on here. I need to get that man on here because I got a few things about West Virginia I needed to talk to him about. Timothy, where you at?
Well,
I'll say this, Caden. What you just spilled, that's a lot of things to come to fruition. But here's the thing, Caden. All this mouthing you're doing about these teams, what are you going to do if Ohio State loses to these teams? What are you going to do?
What am I going to do? I already just did what I did over the last 3 months. I already talked to Coach, and I had a personal conversation with Coach Laurinaitis and all the whole defensive staff. And I told them, boys, they better get that to the way that things were back in Ohio State. Because Coach Tressel, back when Coach Tressel was there, it was all the same that it was. No mercy. We played the way we did, and the way they handle business is the way they handle business. You want to hurt somebody? Well, you better, by God, hurt the next team that comes up in here. It was hurt, destroy, repeat. Hurt, destroy, repeat. That's all it was. And if Louisville came up in here, we're going to hurt and destroy them, boys. Again, as far as Texas, hurt, destroy, repeat. Hurt, destroy, repeat. It's just those 3 words, those 3 letters, HDR. Hurt, destroy, repeat. That's all it was. And that's all I told her, that is that I simply want it back. Personally, because that's the thing that built this program was on fear. Fear was what everybody knew Ohio State by, was fear. Because everybody in this whole entire damn country feared Ohio State because they knew that they were coming up to Columbus, they were getting guillotined. They were getting their heads beheaded. It was the execution. They were just getting sent to death sentence, bro.
well,
And everybody knew that. Everybody from college football world knows that. When Coach Tressel was there, everybody was scared to come up to Columbus and you didn't want to smoke. Tennessee didn't want to smoke. Florida didn't want to smoke. Oh, hell, Tim Tebow, as far as I know, he can be Florida's savior of saving of them, and God saved them from us beating the living hell out of the Gators. But that's how things were at Ohio State at one point, and that's what I loved about this program is the 3 letters HDR: hurt, destroy, repeat. And do I need to make it perfectly clear, or are your brains picking this up, or is your brains actually processing what I'm saying? Because clearly Austin looks like he's dumbfounded.
No, I'm just listening to what a delusional Ohio State fan sounds like.
Austin, let me tell you what, you are lucky that Coach Stressel's not back at Ohio State. Because if he was, by God, I tell you what, Louisville would be next to be beheaded by them boys on the defensive side of the ball. And I tell you what, you're lucky he ain't back up in there because the defensive room there at Ohio State, I assure you, would not be in a pleasant mood about right now. They would be wanting to kick your asses at this point, especially Alabama's.
I didn't know you know him personally.
Oh, I learned from one of the greatest linebackers that played Ohio State back in middle school. I learned from the best of the best that was with Coach Tressel. Coach Tressel, I used to listen to every single piece of footage and audio of the coach, of one of the greatest coaches. The coach that made Ohio State really on the map, that really let everybody know in the world of college football, we were the team that you do not want to smoke with. Because if you got a problem with us, get your asses up to Columbus and get it settled. But if you're going to get yourselves an ass whooping, you know what? That's your fault because you didn't get yourself prepared to get up in here and hang with the big dogs of the Big Ten, as far as I'm concerned. But the bottom line is, Coach Tressel simply just put the defensive side of the room as the main room in the entire vicinity of Ohio State, because that's what Ohio State was known for, was their hard-nosed, hard-hitting, bloodthirsty defense. That's all that this program was while he was there. And by God, that's all. I played at a high school and middle school football, and by God, I loved every single freaking second of it. When you knew you were going to go in again and absolutely behead the son of a gun, by God, I tell you what, it felt damn good. And you know what? I told Coach Tressel, I said, you know what, Coach? I told him before, this was before even when he was at Youngstown State, I called his office one time, and I left him a message, and I said, Coach, I'm going to be honest with you. And I didn't tell him my name, but I just told him, like, honestly, I want you back at Ohio State because I love the way that he not only made that room better, but he made our program not only better, but he set the bar higher. He set the mental bar higher. He set the physical bar higher. And he set the damn straight. He set our program back the way it was. Back the way that Coach Hayes had it. The way that it was supposed to be. And by God, did we lose the way that we were supposed to be playing football? About 85% of it. But that's what I told Coach Laurinaitis, is to remember what Coach Tressel not only said to him when he was there, but also at the same time.
I'm trying to get this through Caden's head, but apparently Caden doesn't understand because he doesn't want to come to grips with reality, but that's okay. He can live in his delusional world of Ohio State better than everybody, and that's okay.
Austin!
What is it, Caden?
Are you calling me stupid or what? Because it sounds like you're calling me stupid.
No, I'm just calling you delusional, so there's a difference.
Mm-hmm. Delusional. Let me remind you that fear was in the world of college football when Coach Tressel was in the room at Ohio State. You know how everybody said they didn't want to go up to Columbus to play the Buckeyes every freaking year when Coach Tressel was there because they knew they were going to get absolutely destroyed. Everybody was going to get wrecked. And that was proven. So I don't need to hear from you nor Jackson about it. Because let me remind you, Austin, I will tell you what, I will go over to Ohio State. I will be up and I will tell Coach personally, and I will tell him even over the phone if I have to. I will leave his office number a message to say, hey, I heard these boys talking shit. And you know what? The funny thing is, I told Coach Tressel this not even that long ago. About how damn Clemson fans were being so fucking stupid.
Okay.
Oh, you want to talk about stupid? Notre Dame fans are the most annoying besides Alabama, Clemson, and Michigan fans Annoying. Oh, talking like there's some big program that stepped up. No, you didn't step up. The only reason y'all came in at the certain point of dominance that you did was because one coach decided to take his leave, took his leave all of a sudden without saying, without saying goodbye to his actual good staff and everybody who was inspired by one of the greatest coaches to step at Ohio State, Jim Tressel. And when Jim Tressel left, that was like the godfather of Ohio State coaches, or one of the godfathers of Ohio State head coaches, took his leave without unexpectedly. The man who put our program number uno, numero uno, who put fear into every single conference, even the Big Ten, Pac-12, ACC, SEC, Mountain West, Group of Five. You knew that if you came when Coach Tressel was here, you knew you were going to get your ass whooped and you were going to get the living hell beaten out of you.
Listen, Caden, and here's an Ohio State fan right here, Hummus Hero. Hummus, if you're listening to this, please set Caden straight, please. Because Caden over here, my goodness.
Austin, nobody needs to hear your Louisville bullshit no more in here. You can keep your basketball program, but keep your basketball rings in the closet. This is football season that's starting, boy. And I don't need to remind you that I will personally tell the NCAA to get their butts off their chair and have Ohio State book Louisville next year. And I will email them 100 times to have Louisville get their heads beheaded by my boys just to get them warmed up. And
Listen,
by God, I will tell them.
Listen, Caden, you can think what you want. And you
because
can have
I'm telling you, everyone is in trouble. Everyone is in trouble because now Ohio State is more mad, upbraided, and not only that, the Hall of Pain in the era of destruction. I put it to Johnny over at Always Irish to remind him. The era of destruction has begun, and this is the part where Ohio State will be kicking everybody's ass. And I don't care if it's Jackson's Alabama Crimson Tide. We're gonna skin them boys alive, and we're gonna have them getting roasted and put barbecue sauce on them boys, and we're gonna be feasting on them. And as far as the Wolverines are concerned, Tom Brady can say that they're his boys. Well, guess what? His boys are about to get hunted, skinned, and eaten and barbecued. Because I'm feeling a little hungry for some Wolverine meat today. Honestly.
Okay, man.
I don't know why. But you know what? I feel a little hungry for some Crimson Tide meat or some Wolverine meat.
Right,
heck, I could go for
go eat some meat, man, and we'll see you soon.
Oh hell! I think I just found some food. Hey boys, hey let me hold on. I'm on. Meta text my buddy my buddy Grant telling me found some Crimson Tide and Cardinal meat to hunt down for tonight or tomorrow morning.
All right, man. Go for it. I mean,
because I will tell you boys, the bottom line is the era of destruction for Ohio State has begun. And this is the part of the era that y'all better be watching your mouths, because this is the part of the era of Ohio State's dominance that you should be really watching the next words that you say about my boys online. And Jackson, that especially goes for you and Mark, because I know you boys like to rant your mouth on, and I don't need to remind you. But I will more. No. I don't need to be hearing that bullshit. I am reminding you boys that the next words you say about my boys online, you're just lighting that fire more. And when you light that fire more, it becomes an inferno. And when that inferno becomes more of a blaze, that blaze trail is going to leave a trail burned. And that trail is going to come through Louisville, then Michigan, then Crimson Tide country. And guess what? Nobody ain't going to be left standing unless somebody's got the actual guts and the gall to step up. Because I'm going to tell you what, you don't mess with this house. The house that Harley built, and not only the house that Harley built, but the house the Hall of Fame was invented. Ohio State was the school that made everybody put fear into everyone. Ohio State was the school that you never wanted to play any year, any day, any Saturday, a night, game, at home, on the road. You didn't want to play them boys because you knew them boys were going to come in there and absolutely destroy anyone. And I mean anyone. I don't care if it's Clemson. I don't care if it's Louisville. I don't care if it's Kentucky, Michigan, Clemson, Alabama. I don't give an absolute fuck about it.
Right.
Bottom line is, you want to come in here and talk smack about my boys in my house, and even on the road, because y'all about to get yourselves an ass kicking.
All right, man.
Nathan, we appreciate you calling in, but we have another caller. We enjoy your insightfulness.
No. Hold on now. How about the next caller comes on here and tells me personally, because I've heard a lot of y'all callers coming on here mentioning my name. So the next caller, please come on in, but with me in here, because I want to hear the next person. The next person that says anything to my boys, I will hear that person, and I'm recording it also on my end. So Jackson, please bring on the next person, but also.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that was yeah. Well, we have our next caller. He's the real MVP.
Hold on, Jackson. Let me do the ledger introduction. Hold on. It is the real MVP, of course, but he is a legendary caller of the voice of college football, always insightful on college basketball, college football. A wonderful caller. Darrell, how are you? Good buddy.
I'm doing well. How about you two, gentlemen?
We're doing pretty good.
They say trying times build character, right, gentlemen?
Yeah. It's like I don't remember anything I've said negative about Ohio State, but I'm just like,
was that Caden?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
if you say anything other than they're gonna go 15-0, win the World Series, win the college football playoff, and win the Stanley Cup all at once, and that they're overwhelming favorites every single year, then you've said something negative. Actually, Jackson, you don't have to say anything. You're wearing an Alabama hat, therefore you're already doing something negative. You see how this works?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, good grief. It's like that's funny where the chat's suspecting he's had a few too many Coors Lights and some liquor.
And Hummus does not claim Caden. Hummus, I appreciate.
Yeah.
Now we know. We know that you do not claim him. That's good.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh my god, it's like I know, like the reason why I don't like argue back with guys like that, it's like I don't argue back with morons because like then I become a moron. It's like he kind of, it's like saying stuff like my boys are gonna. It's like, bro, you're acting like you're part of the team. You're not on the roster. It's like my god, that was just so weird.
So let's bring this back. Let's see if we could salvage this. Darrell, I know you watched the national championship game last night. What was your thoughts on it?
I tell you what, Austin, I literally have never been over the target of a game my entire life as I was this Florida-Houston game. I told somebody in real life hours before the game, Florida's going to win by 2. And dadgummit, they won by 2 points. I knew it was going to be like a low-scoring defensive game because that's always Houston, how they do it. But you know what Houston is? They are a team that has struggled shooting the ball. I know the analytics and the numbers suggest they're a great shooting team, but just, the vibes and the eye test of it is they go on really hot streaks and really cold streaks. Like, I'm sure you all watched that game. Some of those shots Houston missed, and some of them they even made were really horrendous shot. Like, they had a sideways banked in 3-pointer. Didn't even know you could do that. I didn't even know the laws of physics allowed a sideways banked 3-pointer, but apparently they do. So, and then some of them shots were complete air balls. And I was like, oh my goodness. But you know what we got? We got the choke artist special of Houston. You know, going back to the 80s. We're having a throwback time. And let's give all credit to Florida and Walter Creighton Jr. Walton Creighton Jr. looked like the 10th best player on the court at all times during the first half. But that second half, man, he stepped up and he showed heart. And he showed why he is probably, at least in my opinion, some other people's opinion, he's going to be taken in the first round.
Well, and the thing too is, Darrell, he reminds me a lot of Steph Curry. And here's why. He's a big shot maker. He makes shots that not a lot of people his size can make. And even though he didn't have a very good game last night, he had 8 points, but I think he had like 8 assists, 7 assists. He got others involved. And that's how good Florida was, is Walter Clayton had one of his worst games of the tournament, and they still won.
Right. I think a lot of that was Houston's defensive game plan going into the game. Hey, we're going to focus on Walter Clayton Jr. We're going to shut him down. We're going to force some of the other Florida guys to step up. But you know what? This national championship game, was what Florida did throughout the entire tournament. They were down against UConn. They were down against Auburn. They were down in this game, but they found a way to win. You know, I don't think Florida was the best team the entire season. I think this year it's weird. Like, we've had 4 teams that have completely separated themselves. They all were in the Final Four. I think any of those teams could have won the championship. And then we got a bunch of not mediocrity, but clearly a second class. But out of that top 4 team, I don't think Florida's the best team overall. I think, in my opinion, I still believe Auburn is the best team out of the 4. And by that, I mean, if you had them play everyone else in the country, I think Auburn would win the most matchups. But Florida was just built the right way to beat the elite teams this year.
I would agree with that. I mean, like I was mentioning to Jackson, I don't think Florida was the most talented team compared to the other 3. I would still take Houston's roster over Florida's, even now, after watching that game, because I think Houston would win that game 9 times out of 10. But that's the whole point. You play once, and that's it. And Florida, what they do well, Darrell, is the big men. They run the floor with the bigs, what very few teams can do. And I think that's what sets their roster apart. Why they do so well is because their big mans can run the floor and their bigs can shoot threes. And I feel like that's what hurt Houston, because Houston could not run with the bigs. Like, you saw Houston, they kind of seemed like Florida took them out of their element. And once Will Richard and company started hitting shots, Houston was like, okay, now we got to worry about them. And don't get me wrong, it was a great game plan, but Florida's much more than Walter Clayton Jr., especially if you've watched SEC basketball.
Right. I think the pace of play especially at the very beginning of the game, impacted Houston tremendously. I don't know how many times it was during that first 10-minute stretch of the very beginning of the game, but it felt like Walter Clayton the entire time was looking to go to the center and just throw a full court pass in order for the center to dunk it. I mean, I've never seen it to where it's just every single time up the court. They didn't even run like anything else at the beginning, try to get in their steps. No, we're going deep. We're doing a Hail Mary every play is basically what they did. Incredible coaching by Florida, honestly. Incredible coaching by Florida. They deserve a ton of credit. Jackson, I got to ask you, man, to me, this cements the SEC this year as the greatest conference this year in the history of college basketball. I know that's a bit hyperbolic, it might be, but you got to think about it. Half the teams were in the Elite 8, half the teams were in the Final Four, half the teams were in the title game. 100% of them won it all. You had Auburn, most quad 1 wins ever at 15 before the tournament, I believe. You had Florida, who was the hottest team in the country going into it. Then just behind that, you had Alabama, who was elite, the best offensive shooting team in the country. Tennessee, one of the best defensive shooting teams in the country. I mean, Arkansas, who is probably the most talented team in the country, if not the most talented one, top 3 for sure, was probably the 11th or 12th best team in the SEC. And they made the Sweet 16. And they beat the Big East champion. whose coach won Coach of the Year. So, Jackson, do you believe this year's SEC was the greatest year for a conference in the history of college
Oh, it
basketball?
was the best. Like, because it's like it's up there with 2011, the Big East. It's like, 'cause, I mean, you don't ever see 14 teams get in March Madness every year. Like, that's huge in of itself. Like 14 teams from one conference, that's big.
Hmm. Well, and here's the thing too. I'll say this. Here's my thing. You have a really good argument, Gareel, but here's the thing. If you get 14 teams in, you're more than likely someone's going to make it out of there. You got 14 teams in. I would make a case that the years that the ACC, the Big 12 only got 4 in and were still able to win the title is a little more impressive because the lessens your chance. Like if Duke would have won, you could make a case that that was more impressive because there was only 4 teams that made it. That shows how quality the conference is.
I mean, that's impressive for the ACC that one of their teams made it, but I just disagree with this whole narrative that if you got more teams, it's not like we're playing a roulette wheel and you pick a bunch of different numbers and they're all equal. I mean, these teams were really good all year. There's no point there. You know, it's not like they happened to get more teams. I thought, well, we just picked them out of a hat. I mean, they went into non-conference play and they completely dominated. Oklahoma won their tournament. Auburn won their tournament. Kentucky beat Duke in non-conference play and Gonzaga. I mean, you can just go down the list of games. Arkansas beat Michigan. Michigan was a top 3 Big Ten team.
Yeah.
Go down the list of non-conference play. The SEC deserved the spots. And when they got the spots, guess what? The bad teams did. Or quote-unquote bad teams. They got crushed and lost, like Georgia, for example, like Texas. Then what happened? The cream, the best teams, rose to the top. If the SEC was fraudulent, these seeds, like Alabama, would have lost to maybe like a St. Mary's in the second round, for example. Or a Tennessee, they would have lost to somebody other than an SEC school or, not to Houston, the team that made the national championship. So if that theory was true, we would see more upsets, but we didn't this year.
Where's my... Listen, I respect the Gators, B-Bean. I am giving you all your props. I said Florida is not the most talented, but they are the best team. They are the team everyone is striving to be. They are the team everyone's chasing. Louisville, Kentucky, Alabama, Duke, Auburn, Houston. Everyone's chasing you all now. You all are the best team, and I respect the almighty Gators. All hail Florida. You're the kings of college basketball again. Good job. You want to cook?
Yeah, they're the best team right now, but they're not going to. Let's be honest. This was a good run by Florida, and this is something unexpected. The odds of them going back-to-back is pretty small. Like, without Walter Clayton Jr., they just don't have that status of a blue blood type program or a league program to where I believe they can go back-to-back. Like, there's about 10 to 15 teams going into next year I'd pick over Florida. Louisville, for example, I saw John Fanta's. Have you seen that, Austin? John Fanta's way too early, top 25?
Yes.
Sounds like we need to take a look.
Like, we may need to get Austin off. You may need to get some like a needle to pop how much helium is going to be in that head when seeing that list, because oh my goodness, Louisville fans talking about that list like they're back, man. Whew.
Yeah. And shout out to you, Darrell. Was that you that got me off the 3 numbers that Austin won't say? I won't say it out of respect for him.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Jackson. I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
2 times 3 equals 6, and then
okay, never. No, it definitely wasn't me because this is literally the first time I'm hearing about it, so it can't have been me.
Well, whoever did, thank you, because
yes,
I don't
you
want
make
my
me
buddy
feel better.
and I don't want the chat to get scared out of it, because it was like I was thinking to myself. And what was scary about seeing those 3 numbers? Like, good grief. But
you're talking about your subscribers. Yeah, I subscribed and got you to 667. I didn't know what you were talking about. I was
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. Um,
And real quick, Daryl, and B Bean says that sounds a tiny bit condescending. What do you want me to say, B Bean? Do you want me to present you the trophy on a pillow and kiss the gator foot? I mean, you won a national championship. You did your job. Like, no disrespect. All love and respect to Florida. Do you want me to kiss the queen while I'm at it, B Bean?
yeah, they got one more national championship than Louisville now. That's crazy. 3-2. That's crazy, man.
Listen here, Daryl. Listen, we are tied in my book because
Okay.
2013 still counts. Listen, there's footage out there of it.
Here's my question. I wonder if the NCAA will consider giving back the 2013 title to Louisville. Like,
Oh, I think they will. I think they will eventually.
should.
In my opinion, this is just my opinion. Louisville, what they did is far less worse in terms of on the field stuff than what Michigan football did and what Kentucky football did in 2021. So I think Louisville should have their title if Kentucky got punished, and we did. And if Michigan doesn't get punished, then Louisville needs to file a complaint immediately saying they did stuff on the field that was cheating. We didn't, and we got our title revoked. How does that work, you know?
Here's the thing. Not to cut you off, Daryl, but here's the thing. I agree with you. I don't think it ever should have been stripped to begin with. But here's the thing. If Reggie Bush wouldn't have gotten his Heisman back, we wouldn't have this conversation right now. That's the only reason why this conversation is even possible, because Reggie Bush was the general starter of it all. Like there's a lot of, and like you said, when you compare Michigan and Louisville, like you said, what we did was not as bad as what Michigan did.
And what we did wasn't as Kentucky football. We got our 2021 season completely vacated. We won 10 games that season because we had improper NIL deals. And that had nothing to do with on-the-field advantage. Literally, none of the games were impacted by it. So,
the NCAA was acting like that y'all like paid off hookers or something to mess around with players, and y'all didn't. Like,
no, that's crazy, Austin. I mean, that's crazy, Jackson. Sorry, that was a Floridian slip on my part there. That's crazy, Jackson. I would never do such an immoral thing personally. I can't just imagine like someone doing that. But you know, that's just me. To each their own, I guess.
Listen, Daryl. I respect you, Daryl, but we're not going to go down this rabbit hole tonight. I am going to stand on this as business. We did not cheat.
Sure, that's what the recruits for Louisville did as well, too. They stood on that business.
Yep.
But, listen, Daryl, you're acting like Kentucky and Duke and North Carolina ain't never done none of that hoo-ha either. You all just get away with it because they like you. Let's be for real.
I'm sorry, Austin. Jackson set me up for a softball, so I saw it coming middle over the plate, so I had to crush it out of the park.
Oh man! Oh my god! I'm just laughing at the chat, just going on, oh my god!
Oh, I didn't want to say anything, but that last comment by BB is pretty hilarious. I was going to ask Austin if he's still there, if he's frozen. Is Austin frozen? Give me a wave if you're not. He's frozen. Okay. So Jackson,
he's a little bit frozen, but we will get that figured out. He is.
No, it's fine. Well, will be funnier because they'll just have to listen to us. Did you see the Nuggets have completely imploded today for no reason at all?
Oh yeah, they're morons for firing.
What do you think about that?
Morons. They're morons for firing Michael Malone.
They also fired their general manager.
Morons. Today. Morons for firing their general manager.
Like, why would you fire your head coach, national champion or world championship head coach, 3 games before the NBA playoffs start? Now, this is a team that's going to be in the playoffs, barring like a complete catastrophe down the stretch. I mean, they got the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic. I saw they said that the season isn't supposed to end well, but I mean, you've got the best player in the world, and when you got the best player in the world, you're always have alive to win it all, you know? So yeah. Something I don't understand.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not just the Nuggets that fired Malone, apparently, because it seems like if you're winning an NBA title, there's more pressure on you. I mean, we do talk about in SEC football where if you win a natty or if you get to a natty, it really doesn't matter what happens 2 years afterwards. It's what have you done for me lately? And it's the same thing with the NFL. You could get to a Super Bowl and get fired 3 years later, and Austin's internet is fixed and back up for the time being. And the location in Kentucky is doing the mess around with Austin.
I hit the wrong button. I got a little ahead of myself. I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. But go ahead. Go ahead.
No, Austin, we're just making fun of your Nuggets because they decided to implode today for no particular reason.
I've been holding back a little bit on the Nuggets because it's like for the sake of our friend Austin, it's kind of like Louisville USC all over again, where it's like I had Louisville really high on the bowl mania against USC, and they let me down, and I was like, oh my god, I swore I was like swearing at the TV and all that, like when watching the game, but I didn't like go around doing that for us because it's like I'm not gonna be cussing at his team for his sake.
I get that, but Austin, what's your thoughts?
It was heartbreaking at first, and I thought it was a joke. And here's the joke part. When I originally saw it, I thought this was the Luka Doncic trade all over again. I thought, oh, this is a prank. It's fake. They're trying to get us stirred up because nothing newsworthy is going on. And then I see we fire our GM and we fire Michael Malone. And then I got heartbroken, not for Calvin Booth getting fired. He needed to get going because he was kind of he was part of the big problem, but Malone was trying to fix the team. Like he had a vision of what he wanted to see. He wanted to keep KCP. He wanted to keep Bruce Brown. He wanted to keep a good core around Jokic, Murray, Porter, our core guys, because the championship window, believe it or not, Darrell, is still open for us. I still think we can win the title this year, just for the simple fact of Jokic. He's that darn good. But I'm upset that it had to come to this. But at the same time, it may benefit us in the long run, especially from the reports that are going around. We lost the locker room after that Timberwolves game. And Darrell, you were here that night, and you called into my show. And there was reports that saying after that game, it kind of broke the locker room, especially after what the Russell Westbrook foul. And it kind of started the downward slope, and the GM and head coaches never got on the same page.
Yeah, I was surprised one game can do that much damage. But I guess it's just because of how much the Timberwolves have been a thorn in the side to the Denver Nuggets. I mean, last year, obviously, the Denver Nuggets blew, I believe it was 2 20-point leads in the playoffs to the Nuggets. The Nuggets blew 2 20-point leads to the Timberwolves, including a Game 7 20-point blown lead, which was the largest, and it still is the largest in NBA playoff history. So I guess they just really value that game, and have been some games in the NBA clearly mean more than others, and I guess that was one of the games that clearly meant more to them, and the fact they choked it away in the way they did costed them. But I don't like the firing, especially at this point in the season. I believe that Mike Malone is one of the best coaches in the NBA. I believe he will get another opportunity, get another chance. I mean, he did win an NBA title just a few years ago. So, I don't know, though, how much value the coach has in the NBA anymore. Like, if, the player empowerment and stuff is so important in the NBA, and it feels like who you get's more important than who trains them or who coaches them at this point, because, look at the Lakers with JJ Redick and a first-year head coach. I mean, he's first-year head coach, but he's never been a coach before, as far as I know, at any level. But nobody's really factoring that into if the Lakers, how deep of a run in the playoffs could make. So, I just don't know. This is why I'm not paid the big bucks, though. I'm just a caller on YouTube, not a GM for an NBA team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the same thing, too. And let Jackson, because I see Jackson wanted to speak, didn't mean to cut you off there. But I'm with you, Darrell. I don't get paid the big bucks either. Like, I'm just a fan watching the team, and I want to see them do good. If they believe this is what is good and what will benefit us in the long run, I'm here for it. But it just doesn't make any sense that you would get rid of a head coach that brought us our first title in 50 years, the winningest coach in Nuggets history, and this is the move you make just right before the playoffs. But go ahead, Jackson.
Well, and I was going to look back at this list that I had out earlier tonight. Nick Nurse, like, unfortunately, things didn't work out after the 2019 NBA Finals for the Raptors. And Frank Vogel just seems to have bad luck everywhere he goes. Mike Budenholzer, before and after 2021, the Butts were always falling short. I mean, getting blasted by the Heat as a 1 seed in 2023, that was obviously the last straw.
Yeah, I know that, but hiring Doc Rivers as the
I know,
replacement.
right? It's like you're asking to lose in the postseason.
I mean, you trade one problem, and instead of going the complete opposite direction, you just get a worse version of the same issue. That hire still makes absolutely no logical sense to me at all. I don't understand after he blew three, not one, not two, but three 3-1 leads in the postseason, how he still has a job in the NBA.
I mean, it's like you're doing it at the Magic, you're doing it at the Celtics, the Sixers, the Clippers. I mean, because like Austin, I think you might remember one of our phone calls from 2023. We talked a little bit about the Sixers with Dot Rivers. They were leading 3-2, and I was like, the Sixers are gonna blow it. I'm guarantee. I mean, I may not be the NBA expert, like I may not be an NBA expertise kind of guy. I mean, but I do know that about Doc Rivers. And I remember I was like watching Game 5, like my uncle was bragging about it, and he's like, "Oh, the Sixers gonna win the series." I'm like, "No, they're not. They're gonna disappoint you."
Yeah, and here's the thing too, and then I've got John Fanta's way too early top 25, which Daryl, he knows basketball. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest. John Fanta's a smart man, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But I'll say this. I mean, here's the thing. Doc Rivers, he won a championship with the Celtics, right? But you look at what the team they put around him. I mean, did Milwaukee think, okay, we've got Giannis, we traded for Dame. This is kind of like the '08 Celtics reincarnated somewhat defense. Did they think Doc Rivers was the missing piece after they just fired their championship head coach? I mean, like I said, Doc Rivers has had a history of choking away 3-1 leads, but the Phillies series against Toronto, that was a competitive series. That was one shot. Kawhi Leonard, that was one shot. The Hawks series, that was Ben Simmons' incompetency. And I'm not trying to stick up for Doc Rivers, but it's not been all his fault. There's been two series, in my opinion, that I don't pin on him. Would you disagree with that, Daryl? Or Jackson, either one of you?
I mean, at some point, though, you blow enough 3-1 leads, it really doesn't matter the circumstances for in each individual ones. You're toxic, man. It's just radiation. It's just a shadow that's going to follow. It's a dark cloud that's going to follow you no matter where you go. And it may not be fair to him. You know, it's similar to the Ryan Day hasn't beaten Michigan narrative. Until until you actually do it and get over it, it's going to follow you. And that's unfortunately the downside to being a coach. But there is upsides to being a coach. Like they get to make millions of dollars. So you got to weigh the pros with the cons. But yeah, I think Doc Rivers is. I just wouldn't trust him as a player, as a fan, if he was the head coach of my team, I wouldn't trust him. And so I know that goes to the players as well. I wouldn't trust him in the playoffs. How can you trust somebody with the track record he's got? And also, man, you spoke about Ben Simmons. He might be the worst number one pick in terms of like improvement ever. I know Anthony Bennett is a complete joke, but like when he was first drafted, it was like if only Ben Simmons can learn to shoot, he would be an excellent player. You know, I mean, it's still the same issues, and shooting is a massive part of basketball. I feel, at least in my opinion, shooting the ball into the hoop is, you know, the main objective. So I just never understood it at the time. He was at LSU, and that LSU, he didn't even lead them to March Madness back in that LSU when he was at LSU. So I just never understood that.
He's over.
Well,
exactly.
Well, here's the thing too. Now he's getting paid a buttload of money to sit with the Brooklyn Nets, like they need that. But and like you said, I mean, Ben Simmons he's as good as defensive player as you could want when healthy. It's the fact he can't shoot and he's scared to shoot. We saw it in the Atlanta series. He had a wide open path to the basket. He could have just dunked it. And what does he do? He passes it off to Embiid. Like, you cannot tell me that's not someone scared.
Well, he is, because he's a terrible shooter. And I don't understand. Listen, I think sometimes people outthink themselves. You know, basketball is a game where the goal is to put the ball in the net. I like players who can put the ball in the net. Ben Simmons can't do that. Therefore, he's not that good of a player. Listen, he's a great defender. But unfortunately, he's got to play offense as well. And unfortunately, the other team knows he can't shoot, which means they can basically play 5-on-4 every possession. And at the NBA level, you're just not going to win doing that. So he's unfortunately, he's a complete bust because of that.
Well, and that's the thing too. I'm not disagreeing with you, Darrell. I wish Ben Simmons turned out better, but we're looking back at it now as one of those that set the Sixers franchise back when they got a steal in Tyrese Maxey all these years later from the University of Kentucky. Shout out to your Cats, Darrell. Another Calipari product being useful in the NBA. I know you're used to hearing that, but
yeah.
But
at this point, as we get closer to the NBA playoffs, who are the teams that could win it all?
So I've talked to Austin about this before. And I think we agree. We've got the same 4 teams that can win it all. And it's Boston, Los Angeles, the Thunder, and the Cavs.
I want to see the Cavs win it all, to be honest, because it's like they never have won a title without LeBron. So I want to see if that can happen. Because, I mean, like the city of Cleveland needs something nice. They need something to look forward to.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say... Oh, go ahead, Drew. My bad. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's nice to see one of these small market teams kind of win something. The big boys, the Lakers, the Celtics, those type of teams have been winning a bunch of titles recently. The Warriors. So it's nice to see a small market team win.
I just have a feeling we'll just see the stupid headlines about like, where's the NBA going? What does this mean for LeBron's legs? It's like, shut up, ESPN. Shut up.
Well, and I'll say this too, Darrell. I've reconsidered. I still agree on the 4 that we talked about, but I think I'm going to add one more to the fold. And maybe it's a really, really like dark horse, but I honestly think the Clippers could surprise some people the way they've been playing this year.
I hope they have good things. Like, it would be nice to see that be the NBA Finals, Clippers, Cavaliers. I mean, that would actually be nice. I mean, you look back in the NBA Finals history. I mean, what? We have like an archives of Lakers, Celtics, Lakers. I mean, there's a freaking Wikipedia page dedicated to the Lakers Celtics rivalry. It's gonna be fine if we don't have another year of Lakers Celtics in the NBA Finals. Like, actually, we all want to see something. I mean, Cavs Thunder or Clippers Pacers, something like that. It doesn't make a rat's behind what it is. Just as long as we see a couple small market teams get into the NBA Finals, that would actually be cool. Will ESPN market it effectively? Probably not.
No, no, they want to see a Lakers Celtics or a Knicks Lakers. They want to see something between LA and Boston or New York and LA. They want something that they like. If OKC makes it out the West and they play like a Boston or like a Lakers, I mean not like a Lakers, a New York, they'll mark the heck out of it. But if the Knicks, I mean, if the Cavs make it, Jackson, we probably won't hear much other than how they got lucky or how injuries occurred, and this is how they got here.
I mean,
The
James
usual.
Dolan, I mean, cannot stand that guy, but as long as he's good, the Tom Thibodeau, I'm happy. And the Nets owner, the Nets, in my opinion, should be Spike Lee. No questions asked.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think, Darrell?
It would be different. I know Jackson is a fan of the splashy, flashy hires, so it doesn't really surprise me he would go that direction. But I think New York is the Knicks are in a good position based off of where they've been. I mean, let's think about it. Before Tom Thibodeau was there, they were a complete joke.
Yeah.
They were a laughing stock. I mean, at least people now talk and care about New York basketball. And look, right now, again, this is right now, they're projected to play the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons are a great story, but they're not that great of a team. So, the Knicks probably win that series in 4 or 5 games. They make it to the second round against Boston, and then, they face a juggernaut and they get killed. But, it's much better than what they had previously done. At least there's some reason now for New York fans to go to their games, because it was bad between the Carmelo Anthony era and before Tom Thibodeau got there. So,
could not agree more, Timothy Green. And for a little bit, I meant what I said, where it's like, I can deal with being cussed at, but I will never put up with my friends, anybody in the chat, or anybody else being cussed at, because it's not. I always think to myself, the person that's doing it wouldn't like if it's done to them. I promise you, Timothy and Thomas Hero and all you guys, I won't let you guys get cussed at. I can promise you for sure. Yeah, we have too much.
Here's the thing. And here's the thing, Jackson, I know you keep up with it somewhat. I'm more of an NBA buff than Jackson is, if anybody didn't know. Jackson specializes in college football. I'm more of the basketball buff over here. But you look at the East. The East is basically record-wise the Celtics and Cavs. That's their conference. The West, 1 through 8, you can make a good argument any of these 8 teams could win, in all seriousness. And Darrell Jackson, could we see a team like the Grizzlies or the T-Wolves? Could we see possibly, even after all the chaos, could my Nuggets still find a way to get to the finals? What are y'all thinking out west?
I think the only team I don't trust is the Grizzlies. They're just Ja Morant. They fired their head coach. I just don't trust them in the playoffs. I haven't seen Ja Morant in the playoffs in a few years, so I'm throwing them out. I think they're the least likely team to make the finals. Then, outside of that, like any of these series, anybody can win. Like, if somebody told me tomorrow Minnesota's going to beat the Thunder in 7, it wouldn't be like, oh my goodness, this is an all-time upset, like that We Believe Warriors team did to the Dallas Mavericks. It wouldn't be like that surprising to me, because the Timberwolves, man, they got a good squad. So, and your Nuggets got the best player in the world. Anytime you got the best player in the world, you can win any series. The Golden State Warriors traded for Jimmy Butler. They've been on an incredible tear since the Jimmy Butler trade. And if he elevates in the playoffs, they could win it all. The Lakers got the best 1-2 combination in the entire NBA, maybe? Probably, with LeBron James and Luka Doncic. The Rockets are just ironically, I would trust the Grizzlies the least, the Rockets the second least, and then it's just like a toss-up between almost everybody else. Within that toss-up, I've got it organized into some tiers, but honestly, the West is just so deep this year and so good. It's really hard to pick.
What are you thinking, Jack? Like, looking at this, like, is there anybody that jumps off the page to you that you're like, that team can win the West, or this team's a dark horse? What do you
I
think?
want the Thunder to win the West. I want the Clippers to win the West. But it's not who I think wins the West, unfortunately.
Who do you think wins it?
It's
right
gonna be the
now?
Lakers.
Oh no, not the Lakers.
It hurts me more than it does you guys, believe me. That's why I sound so depressed having to say it.
Anybody but the Lakers. I'll even
I
take another
know.
Steph Curry finals appearance.
Yeah, I don't want Lakers or Warriors winning the West. I'm sick to death of those guys. Give one to the Clippers, Rockets, Thunder. I'm too pissed at the Nuggets right now. So
This is all going to be based on seeding, in my opinion, and it's going to change because you've got seeds 3 through 8 separated by 2 games, so it's all going to fluctuate. Like if the Lakers had to go on the road and play the Warriors, and then if they're the 5 seed,
yep,
like the Nuggets are right now, whoever's the 5 seed, in my opinion, is drawing dead. They've got no chance. And last time me and Austin spoke, it was the Warriors. Now it's the Nuggets. So as of right now, the Nuggets, unfortunately, they're drawing dead because they do have the best player in the world and they can win any series. But you're telling me they're going to beat the Clippers, who is a stacked team, who's got a ton of talent, who's got Kawhi Leonard, one of the best defenders on the planet. Then they're going to go play most likely the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then they're probably going to play the Los Angeles Lakers on the road and win those series.
Clippers. Please win the West, Clippers.
They're not going to win they're the Clippers.
I know. That's what the press is.
The real's just like the Clippers aren't going to win. They're out.
Yeah, they're the Clippers.
They're out
man.
before it even begins.
They're always out. They're the Clippers, man. Everybody expects them. On paper, they're one of the best teams in the NBA, but unfortunately, games not played on paper anymore.
Here's the thing. And to your point, Daryl, the 4-5 matchup, whoever gets it, whether it's if this holds and it's us against the Clippers, Nuggets Clippers, or if it's Warriors Nuggets, or if it's Lakers Warriors or Lakers Clippers, the Battle of LA, I don't envy them having the 4-5 seed. I don't envy them because your reward's going to get to be playing a fresh OKC team who's more likely they're either going to get a combination of Sacramento, Dallas, or if this stands, the loser of Minnesota, Memphis. Now, if Minnesota or Memphis somehow come out of this play-in and make the 8th seed, then the Thunder might be in for it. But if they get the Kings or the Mavericks, it might be a short series, and they'll be sitting there resting. Well, the 4-5 is sitting there beating the holy heck out of one another. And then they're like, okay, your reward is, hey, good job, LA. You won a series. Guess what? Now go play the best team out west. Good luck.
I completely agree with that analysis. To me,
I don't envy whoever draws this.
Yeah.
Right, rest to me because a lot of these teams. No, you're good. A lot of these teams are older, like the Warriors, the Lakers, for example. The Nuggets rely on one guy, so they're in a little different category. The Clippers, rest is going to be such a important factor going into the playoffs. Like winning your series in 4 or 5 games, I think is going to matter a lot this year, and more than most years.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing too, and we know this, like the East. You look at the East realistically. We've been talking about this, but you look at the East besides Cleveland and Boston, does anyone really believe the Pacers are going to challenge the Cavs or Celtics in a
No,
series?
It's all one hand crap on the other. See what you get first with the Pacers and
Detroit,
the Bucks.
they're too
No,
young.
it's going to be Cavs, Celtics, Eastern Conference Final. I mean, we should honestly just skip to that point because I think they're just going to win 4-4, 5-5, something like that in their first two rounds. I think they're really going to show the rest of the NBA who the best two teams are in the Eastern Conference. And when we get to that point, it's going to be a titanic matchup in which I slightly favor Boston because of the depth, the experience, and they've got, in my opinion, they got the best player. The Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell thing can go back and forth. So, and the bench of the Boston Celtics is really good. So I would favor the Celtics slightly in that series, but that's going to be a heavyweight.
True.
And here's the thing too. I would have said the Bucks, but then Dame goes down with his blood clot, which much respect to Damian Lillard. I hope he gets better. Hopes to see him playing again next year. But I would have said the Bucks could have presented a challenge. The only team I could see maybe giving the Celtics or Cavs the fifth is the Knicks. And the only reason why that is because they play hard-nosed defense and they get your face and they're physical with you. And even that, I still see the Cavs or Celtics prevailing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think,
Seems like
Daryl?
a good
Do you
place,
think
Austin, to end the conversation where we all agree on it.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. But go ahead, Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of feels like I hope we'll see it be something. The NBA Finals be a little different, be like Cavs Thunder, but I just don't feel like it. It's probably going to be like a Lakers Nets NBA Finals, or it's going to be a Lakers Celtics Finals again, like another one of those. Like I'm hoping I'm wrong, but that's what it feels like. Oh, that's John Fanta's top 25,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, and I wanted to get Daryl's thoughts on this before we
I
go.
saw where Louisville was 3 when I did the buzzer beater with Will today, where we saw Louisville was ranked 3 according to ESPN from Jeff Borzola.
Yes. And see, Daryl, this is what winning looks like, Daryl. Just in case Kentucky's forgot how to do that here lately. Mr. Fanta knows how to rank things. See, and look, little brother.
I mean, you could have made that joke last year or about a month ago before Kentucky made it to the Sweet 16, but it's kind of hard to make that joke now.
Listen.
Do you know what the Sweet 16 is, Austin, by the way? It's been a while since you've been there.
Listen, Daryl, listen. Pat Kelsey, we're going to get there. I have no issues. See, and Mr. Fanta here, Daryl, he's a smart dude. He understands. Louisville's where it's at. All the recruits are going to come to us, and we're going to get it done. we're going to be relevant again. And little brother is going to be like they always are, Mr. Daryl. Down on the bottom, sobbing, looking up at greatness, which is Louisville.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking up at those 2 titles you got compared to our 8, or that the last time you all beat us in basketball was
the COVID year.
Oh, I honestly forgot you beat us then, but that makes sense. That Kentucky team was like 9-16. So, listen, Louisville's got some good players. Louisville's got that. Who is it? Michael Brown Jr. I think his name is something like that. He's a 5-star recruit, and he's supposed to be one of the best, if not the best, point guard in the country coming in, or freshman going into next season. I know Duke's got another. I saw they got another 100 out of 100 player like Cooper Flagg. So, Duke is going to be Duke. They're going to be a menace to society like they always are. I don't know who Houston is losing on their team. I'm assuming the reason Houston's number 1 is because they're going to have most of their core back together. So,
Mm-hmm.
St. John's at 8. It's because of Rick Pitino. I think. Well, I don't know why UCLA is 9. Mick Cronin. I don't think he's the answer to UCLA. Like they had a good run, I know, at the end of the Big Ten season, but they haven't made any sort of relevant noise in like years, which is a shame for UCLA. I know. I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
Austin, if you saw today, Kentucky stole a player from Alabama, one of their best players today. So that Kentucky number probably going to be bumped up a bit next time this poll's released because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it just means more down here, Austin.
See, listen here, Daryl. You all had 1 year, and you're acting like you're kings of the world. Listen, the ACC, we've been running this for a long time. I'm glad you all finally stepped it up and gotten to our level. I mean, if you didn't know, Daryl, with all due respect, the SEC, this is their first title they've won in years. The Big 12 and the ACC and Big East have been running around here, good buddy. Like I'm glad you're bragging about it means more down there. If we were talking football, yes, absolutely, you got me. But when it comes to basketball, it's ACC. It's where it's at.
Oh yeah, those mighty 4 teams that made the NCAA tournament. Every coach is basically retired or fired. I mean, look at all the ACC coaches who've retired or been fired over like the last 5 years. Coach K, Roy Williams, Leonard Hamilton, Jim Larinaga, Jim Boeheim. You can just keep going on and on. Kenny Payne, I add another one to the list. So
Oh,
the ACC
I thought
was
I got rid of it. Yeah. I thought I got rid of
so in
that
my
name.
opinion, this is a cool list to get people talking, but it's early on. We don't know what's gonna happen, but it's nice to see Louisville back to where we actually have to look forward to a rivalry game. It's not fun just beating up on your opponent year after year after year. It's gonna be a high octane. It's gonna be ranked on ranked matchup, which hasn't happened and felt like forever. So it should be good. Should be enjoyable. I don't know how Iowa snuck into this poll at 25. I'm sorry. I watched Iowa play. Unless
they
they've
were
got like
abysmal.
unless they got like, I know they fired Fran and they hired the Drake guy, but I need to see that before I believe that. And I guess North Carolina is on this list just because they're North Carolina. Like, I just don't trust Hubert Davis to be the coach.
I'll say this, Jackson. What do you think about your Crimson Tide being number 7? You like it? You're ranked ahead of Auburn, who made the Final Four.
I'm happy about it on the one hand, but it's preseason, not the regular season. It's like
that's true. It's
we
kind
have
of
to
like
focus
college
on regular
football.
season. I mean, I'm just ready for college football already. Well, Darrell,
I'll say this.
What's
real
that?
quick, Jackson, and then we'll call it a night. I just love pestering Darrell because it's all love in this Louisville Kentucky rivalry.
That's true.
But all seriousness, though, Darrell, are you generally happy though that Louisville is we're finally rounding back to form? Because don't you think college basketball is better when Louisville and Kentucky are both great?
Yeah, obviously it's best for the state of Kentucky. It's best for college basketball when I don't want to say blue blood because you're not a blue blood. You're not even the color blue, so it's hard to be a blue blood when you're not even the color blue. But you're kind of like Indiana. You're in that tier of teams that aren't a blue blood, but you haven't. Michigan State's in this tier where you're kind of a blue blood, but not really a blue blood. You're a very top 10 program of all time. So it's nice to see all of them establish themselves. And Louisville was that odd man out where they were a complete joke. And it's nice to see that their games are going to matter because, that's one of the best fan bases in the country, one of the largest fan bases in the country. I mean, there's a reason every time I turn it on, the field of 68 feels like they're talking about Louisville, Kentucky, Duke, Carolina, UConn, or Rick Pitino, or John Calipari. So, it matters a lot. And, Austin,
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I was surprised that Pat Kelsey didn't win Coach of the Year. Like, in my opinion, now the Coach of the Year award is just going to be an award for whoever the best coach is in college basketball. Because I would have had it to where it was Pat Kelsey, Dusty May as the top two. That was my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of them. Like, don't get me wrong, Bruce Pearl definitely earned it for the job he did at Auburn. But if we're talking, like you said, it's kind of like the MVP in a way. It's like, is the MVP based on the best statistics or most valuable?
Yep.
Because if we're talking about Coach of the Year, there's only two candidates in my opinion. It's Pat Kelsey and it's the head coach at West Virginia, the previous one now that went to Indiana, in my opinion, and Rick Pitino and Mark Pope. I would throw, yeah, Darian DeFries, yes, and Mark Pope. I would throw Pope in there too, because for what he did at Kentucky, and this is all joking aside, all of our Louisville, Kentucky banner, all love. I love picking on Kentucky fans, especially DeReal, because he picks on us, so I give it back to him. But Pope, he definitely had an argument too, because basically Kentucky's roster was like ours, had nothing on it.
There we go. Here we go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw B being earlier. The Buzz Williams hire to Maryland. I mean, he just traded the SEC for the Big Ten. Maryland and Texas A&M, to me, are the exact same school, basically, in terms of basketball care, level of ceiling. So I don't understand. I guess he just wanted to join a easier conference, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand the move. I honestly don't get it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, if Kevin Willard left, I don't see why Buzz Williams wouldn't leave any. Because if Maryland didn't get their NIL fix, they're going to be going through coaches faster than the next team. I hope Buzz Williams can get the NIL money out of him, DeReal. If not, hey, Buzz Williams won't be around long either.
Yeah, I know, but if we're comparing Texas A&M, Maryland, Villanova's clearly the program with the highest ceiling. It's undisputable in my opinion. So, but Texas A&M to Maryland, I mean, that's, dozen in one hand, half a dozen in the, it's the same thing basically to me. Like, I don't see much of a difference between those two. I don't get it personally, unless he just didn't. We have some backroom deals that we just don't understand. He likes it up there. He has family up there. Something we don't know about. That's the only thing I could see, because on the court, it doesn't make sense. He had Texas A&M rolling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was about to say Maryland, Texas A&M played at a neutral deciding. That would be a coin flip game for me. I don't know about you, Jackson, or you, DeReal, but A&M and Maryland, I think, would be a coin flip game.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Oh, sorry. I was getting the little schedule release for the Voice College Football role for the Ets account.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw, and I will tell you though, guess who got a new Twitter account? Tiger Paw Craven.
Is he the Clemson guy?
Yes, and he's at TPC_CFB. And it's all in capital letters. We're gonna build his following up for sure.
But speaking of that, DeReal, what have you got going on in your adventures, good buddy? What are you going to be a menace to society on this Twitter account?
That's a bit excessive.
That you have.
I'm going to be talking probably about college baseball. That's the only real sport going on nowadays. Louisville, Kentucky play tonight, Austin. I'm not sure.
You don't want to see the Braves win the NL East?
No, the Braves are. I don't know what's happening to the Braves, but
we're dung heap. We're dung heap.
Yeah, I know. The Braves are not good. To me, in the MLB, it's the Dodgers, then the Yankees, and then there's a tier of everyone else. Like, it's going to take a lot to beat the Dodgers. So
go away, Dodgers. Go away, Yankees. That's what I say. But in all
But like you said, though, Daryl, continue to promote yourself, though.
There you go.
So yeah, that's mainly what I'll be discussing is all the college baseball games, the upset results. Like I saw Loyola Marymount beat number 5 Oregon today, and that's what I like about college baseball is you just get these wacky results that make absolutely no sense that would never happen in other sports like I think it was Oral Roberts today beat Oklahoma State. Just some wacky things. And that's what makes that sport great is the unpredictability nature of it. Texas A&M, they were preseason number 1, completely collapsed. And then last week, when it looked like all hope was lost, they beat the number 1 team in the country on the road 2 out of 3 games. So I don't know if Austin watches college baseball, but the SEC and ACC run the sport, and it's better when there's 2 mega conferences. You get better play.
There we go. All right, man. We'll be seeing you later, Darrell, and you have a good night, sleep well, and thank you for calling in, good buddy.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, guys.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
Always welcome, Daryl. Always welcome.
Oh, we thank you, Timothy Green. We thank you so much for tuning in and telling everybody to tune in, and appreciate you getting me out of the 3 numbers that Austin will not mention. But
No,
get me over to 667.
Yes, precisely. But
I wouldn't do anything to scare old Austin or do anything bad. I wouldn't do anything wrong. But in all seriousness, though, Austin, what have you got going on your channel this week?
No, Jackson. We promote you first, good buddy. Because, Jackson, here we go. I'll get it right eventually. We promote you first, good buddy. You first. You're the boss man.
Well, we had an amazing show on Crimson Tide Live on Monday. I was sad that Coach Burtz and Jeffrey weren't available. Coach Burtz is on vacation in Europe, but he will be back this Friday, thus being able to come on Crimson Tide Live next Monday, of course. And the bat signal called Jeffrey elsewhere. So I was like, oh, I got to scramble fast. So I had these 2 guys that subbed in for Jeffrey and Coach Johnny Burtz. And they are Alabama Richie, who you see on the Alabama College Show Thursday nights and on Wager Wire. And I had Nick Saban Jr. coming on. Although that's not his real name, that's his stage name. But but those 2 guys offer great insight in all of Alabama football. But guess who else we had? We had a special guest. We had Coach Smook coming in to join us. And when he was like commenting, let's collab, let's collab, I'm like, absolutely, let's do it. And I was impressed with his knowledge on all of college football and how good he is with recruiting tapes, everything. It's like we had so much fun. We talked a lot about what to look for on A-Day. We talked about the legacy of Julio Jones. We even had Xavier Crowell, the 2026 4-star recruit, commenting on the show. And we're going to see that we can bring him on Crimson Tide Live for sure, because we would love to have him on for a quick 10 minutes. Like, I can tell you, I cannot wait to see what that young man brings in all of college football and NFL. Because, I mean, he is a star in the making. And he's a star on and off the field from what I've heard of him. He's really awesome. And, we're 43 subs away from 2,600 on Alabama at the Voice of College Football. And we're making sure we're getting to 3,000 subs because, Texas has us beat at 3,000, but we got to beat them to 4,000 because, you went to the SEC title. Yeah, you went to the semifinals. That doesn't mean you run the SEC. We run this still. Nah, but in all seriousness, we'll need all the help we can get to 3,000 subs, and we'll definitely want to hear what you have to say on the Alabama Call-In Show Thursday nights, where Jeff Reed only talks sports and myself take your calls 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Time. And of course, there's not only the magic that I'm creating on Alabama with the Voice College Football. You can not only check me out here with Austin on Pass the Mic and on the Final Whistle during the season for college football and on Pets Analysis, but you can also check me out with Will on the Buzzer Beater for college basketball. We've got an upcoming show Saturday afternoon. It's going to be a wild ride. But also, we've got an upcoming episode, The Jacksonian. And for the third time, we're going to have Cody Stovall joining us for episode 67. I got to tell you, it's always fun having Cody on. Like, he is so much fun on and off air. And it's like, if you want top Oklahoma State insider knowledge, Cody Stovall is your guy. He is a go-to. And he's so much fun to be around, for sure. And for more updates on what I've got going on Alabama with the Voice of College Football or who's coming on the Jacksonian, check me out on Jackson VOCFB on X/Twitter or on Instagram and Threads, Jackson Johnson 543908. Austin, what you got going on in your world this week, good buddy?
So, real fast, too, I appreciate that. Jackson's always a great segue. But if you want to keep in touch with me or Jackson, and we did the easy work for you, down in the description below, me and Jackson, our handles to our Twitters, our X's, our Instagrams, our YouTubes, both on our channels, whether you're watching on Sports Talk with Austin or you're watching on Jackson's channel. All of our handles are down there, so you can keep in touch with us. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Helps the algorithm. And we appreciate everybody that calls in, and we appreciate any topic. If you have any suggestions for any topics, but you don't want to call in, let us know. We'll talk about it. If you want to hear us banter about baseball for a minute, we will talk some baseball. Like that'd be more Jackson's sport because he's a Braves fan. But I would talk baseball. But as far as what I've got going on this week though, as like I said, down below, find my channels and find my links and find Jackson's too. Promise none of the bad stuff. It's all good. Find me on Twitter. You can find me here at Sports Talk with Austin 2002. Maybe make some upcoming NBA videos. And I might have a special live stream sometime next week with a certain Jeffrey from Only Talk Sports as we predict the first round and predict who we might predict to go all the way to the finals and make our NBA playoff predictions with Jeffrey. We'll see if we can get that worked out, get that going. Will be a lot of fun. If not, we'll do it here on Pass the Mic, and I'll get Jackson's insight. I mean, heck, who knows? Jackson might be a secret Milwaukee Bucks fan. He's just not telling us. Because Jackson might love the Bucks. I'm just saying, he is an Alabama fan. He does like dynasties. Or who knows, he might like the Lakers secretly. But I'll keep that between us. But that's where you can find me. And Jackson, this was a fun show. I enjoyed it. And until next time, this has been Sports Talk with Austin. Signing out. This is my good partner in crime, Jackson Johnson. I bid you a farewell, a goodbye, and go Cards.
Like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss another video whatsoever, and we will see you soon. Good night, everybody.